First of all, it is so good to see you guys. How is it to see each other?
It's awesome. Hi, Lori. Oh, hi.
Like, we saw each other about a year. Was it a year ago or 2 years ago now that we saw each other in Toronto?
I feel like a year.
Yeah, I think it was a year ago when we were allowed to all be together.
Yeah, right. And in a different climate, for sure.
Yeah.
So have you guys, like, are you still close? Because that's the thing that we all sort of wish for after being huge fans of the show, that like we all came to terms with the fact that the show was ending, but we would not be able to come to terms with the fact that you guys did not maintain the relationship after the show ended.
Well, you know, what's so funny is that, kind of like Amanda, I ended up moving out west. And so it's weird how life imitated art. Lonnie and I actually kind of have been in and out of touch over that period of time. So even if we're not close, it's funny how we've been able to kind of reconnect. And it's like time doesn't really pass. You can see that it does, but it doesn't feel like it. It's very comfortable to be with Lonnie and to be able to just chat about whatever. It's like time hasn't passed, even though we physically are distanced. Yeah. Is that how you feel too, Lonnie?
1000%. And now you're on social media. You're like a social media girl. So we're finally connected there too. So for sure, our friendship is timeless, you know, like you connect with Laura and it's like, I just saw her yesterday. So it's beautiful.
Especially during this time when we're all at home and people are worried and things just aren't right, we're sort of looking for things that make us feel comfortable, and sort of, you know, nostalgia is really big right now. And just even sitting down thinking about Ready or Not, you know, it gives you that sense of home. It gives you that sort of sense of comfort. Are you guys feeling that now?
Feeling the Ready or Not comfort, or just finding comfort?
No, like are you guys looking for those sorts of things? Because we look to things like, you know, like your show, and I'm just wondering if you guys are sort of like finding comfort in things, you know, maybe not necessarily your own show, but you know, but things that you sort of like you grew up with.
Oh, for sure. Like even just reaching out to people that you haven't talked to in a long time. I think it's funny. I found myself doing that almost instantly, making sure that you had like a little touchstone. So that for sure was one of my first things that I did. What about you?
Yeah, that's definitely, like, I've been connecting with people I haven't talked to in a while and having like phone conversations and video conversations, which is kind of stuff that we didn't do before, which I realized that human connection is something that is definitely rising, and it's a beautiful thing, you know, in this sort of uncomfortable, crazy time.
Yeah.
So.
You guys were part of, whether it was Ready or Not or Degrassi, Canada really led the way in sort of no holds barred teen youth programming that actually served a great purpose.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like both of those shows did a lot, mostly because it looked at teen issues without laughing at it. So even though there might have been a bit of humor or a bit of, you know, levity that would be surrounding it, it wasn't actually making fun or poking fun of these feelings, emotions, or experiences that we were having. And I think it lent a lot of authenticity to the viewers, so much so that we actually received letters from families, not just teens that were viewing it, but parents who said, this is the first time I've ever had a platform to talk about this with my child, and thank you. And I remember thinking, like, that's a big deal, because it wasn't making fun of those things, which can actually be very impactful to a young to a family.
Yeah. Agreed.
It's almost as if, because you guys were blazing such a trail with what you talked about and how you handled those things, you would think that now in 2020 that everything would just be wide open and we would have gone way past what you guys did, but it hasn't happened.
Yeah, you would think. There's strides and there's openings and there's conversations happening, but it's definitely not as wide open as you think in this day and age, which is really interesting to me still. You know, everybody has their time with things, and at least to have a conversation open up, you know, that's a positive. That's a silver lining that certain things wouldn't have even been talked about before. So
the show was all over the world. When did you realize how big the show was? Do you remember the moment where you were like, whoa?
Between the two of us, not necessarily, but like I had personal experiences where vacation in Mexico, and all of a sudden one of the women came and gave me a drum that the guy was making drums in the lobby, and I'm like, oh, cool, like, thanks. And then they were like, oh, we know who you are, like, you're a big deal, you're famous, like, you're from Ready or Not. And then, you know, I got VIP at the buffet the next morning. It was a big deal. And, you know, when you're just living life, I don't think you realize until you have those kind of experiences, you know, where people are like, we love you, and you're a huge deal, and you're like, oh, right.
Like when I said, it wasn't really something that we were cognizant of so much of as it was going on. We knew that people had seen the show, but it kind of felt like a small family, local type of thing. I was backpacking in the Mexican highlands, actually, like just outside of Chiapas. And I was in this tiny town. I had to take a chicken bus like 6 hours to get to this tiny town. And this one guy walked up to me, goes, Amanda. I'm like, what? Bananas. I was like, this is not a place I would have expected. Like, you couldn't see, I don't know, you couldn't see advertising anywhere. And then all of a sudden this guy walks up to me. I was like, wow, that was mind blowing.
We all know, and I'm wondering, over the years since it happened, how many times have you answered questions about what it was like that day Ryan Gosling was on the show?
That's a big topic of conversation. It's funny because it was like we didn't really know, obviously, at the time that people were going to be like explosive stars. He was super cute and super nice and good local boy. And then so was Dominic Zampronia, who was the other actor who was playing with him at the time, and really great guys. But then, of course, when you see someone explode like that, you're like, oh my gosh, it's so amazing. And then you're like, wait a second, holy cow.
Yeah, like I didn't even really remember until I decided to just look at a thread of a conversation about Ready or Not, and everybody was tripping out that it was Ryan Gosling. And I was like, what show? Like, what episode? Who was this kid? And then I remember, like, he had longer hair. He was kind of dorky. He was not super confident. And I was like, whoa, that's so cool. That was totally Ryan Gosling. So big deal. Yeah.
That's amazing. Everything in 2020, everything is being rebooted. If they came to you and said, we want to do a sort of next generation and move Ready or Not forward, would you guys be into it?
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Where do you think they would be? Where do you think that those two would be right now?
Oh, well, it's kind of something that's being developed right now. Funny that you should ask.
Oh, really?
But we would be on paths that would be very divergent, that would come back. And much the same way that we'd seen them part as young women, you see them as mature women coming back.
So hold on here. Are you guys doing Ready or Not again? No. And I'm just finding this out now?
Well, I believe it's in development. So we don't obviously have anything concrete at the moment, but we've been told from our creator that we are at liberty to say that it's being worked on.
So send the vibes. Send the vibes.
Oh my God. Okay, so hold on here now. I was about to wrap up, but now I need to know where does this pick up? Like, what are your lives like in the show? Do you even know yet?
We have ideas.
We can't divulge. You just have to wait. You just have to wait.
Listen, I cannot thank you guys enough for filling me in on that. As we say goodbye, I'm going to email Ryan Gosling to let him know what the hell is happening with you guys. This was amazing. I cannot thank you guys enough. And I'm so happy. And I know a lot of people are with that news. So thank you so much. It was wonderful to talk to you. And I cannot wait to do this again.
Thank you, Roz, for having us. It was so great to talk to you too.
Oh my God, it's amazing.
Thank you so much.